Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Allen, your host for HTTV's series of Community Champions. Despite the distresses COVID-19 has put on all our communities, we are witnessing a universal generosity from financial donations to volunteering to those who are just sharing their expertise that might support someone else getting back on track. At HTTV, our focus is always on you, our community, and during this pandemic, there's nothing different. We are highlighting extraordinary people who are making up our great community all across the state and basically telling the story of what the best of humanity looks like during a difficult time. Thank you for watching and stay safe. Are you a small business or entrepreneur wondering how to survive the COVID crisis? Today we're discussing 3 strategies how your business can successfully survive the epidemic and excel in the new normal. I'm Lisa Allen for HTTV, and speaking with me today is the founder and CEO of LadyDrinks, Joya Dass, a woman who has led her entire life on successful reinvention and helping others do the same. Thank you so much for joining me today, Joya.
Lisa, thank you for the kind words. That's a wonderful introduction. I'm glad to be here with you.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's great to have you on because you are a wealth of knowledge. You are very connected and you own a business where you are speaking with CEOs, you're talking to thought leaders, and where we are on the precipice of 30 million unemployed people and small businesses just hanging on by a thread who just want to survive. I thought you were the perfect person to come in and talk about what's going on out there and what are some of the common questions and concerns that you're hearing from the women in your network right now.
Yes, thank you. Just a little bit of background on me. For the last 20 years, I've been a television anchor and I covered the financial markets. That was my beat. And I also broadcast from the New York Stock Exchange trading floor. So that was my studio for 20 years. And about 8 years ago, I founded a platform just for South Asian executive women and established founders. And now I've largely left television to run this network full time because I felt like I just needed to commit. I needed to give this my all. And so that's what takes up my 9 to 5 today. I am in constant contact with my members. I have a membership driven platform. And so I'm on calls with them every day. And I would say the top thing is many people have been sidelined. If they have a hair salon, obviously they're not seeing clients. If they are a pediatrician or a pediatric dentist, they're doing all of their stuff over telemedicine methodology. So the one thing that people are really concerned about is, how do I stay relevant? How do I continue to stay in touch with my clients and my customers? And some people are doing it very well, and some people have paralysis. They don't even know where to begin. The one thing that has not been cut off from us is social media. And you can continue to add value to your clients' and customers' lives by just pivoting slightly in the way that you offer your services. So for example, I'm in the connections business. While most of the ways that I do the connecting is through live events, I quickly pivoted all of my speakers and all of the workshops that I do to this platform, to Zoom. I think about there's people that I've observed who are restaurants, right? Okay, they can't obviously have people dining in their restaurants anymore, but they quickly and very robustly developed a takeout business, right? And Open Table is a prime example. That's someplace that you would normally go to make reservations, but now they're offering you an exhaustive list of all the places in your area that are offering takeout, right? So how are you able to continue to add value in this environment to your clients and customers and meet them where they're at? And I think that digital is probably the most pervasive way that you can do that. The other thing that I'm noticing that people are doing is just handwriting, going back to tradition and handwriting their clients and customers and checking in, picking up the phone. How are you? What does your family need? What can I do for you? And I think that when this is all over, people are going to remember that you led with a human first attitude. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's what's really going to be top of mind when this is all over.
What have you done personally that's allowed you to stay open to new ideas and stay relevant and help make sure that you're not hitting any brick walls with your own business?
There's a great article in the Harvard Business Review that talks about myopic marketing. And I'll give you an example of what that is. The railroad industry has gone south very quickly in terms of relevance in our lives, because there's cars, there's drones, there's trucks now that are doing a lot of the transporting. And so what this article talks about is that the railroad industry always thought of themselves as the railroad industry. And very quickly they were replaced by other means of transportation. If they thought of themselves as the transportation industry, maybe they could have still been players in the game in the way that other vehicles and trucks are today. Same thing with the movie industry. All of a sudden now no one's going to the movies anymore, and TV has become king. But Hollywood has always thought of themselves as the movie industry. But if they widened out to think of themselves as the entertainment industry, how could they continue to be relevant? So for me, I know I'm in the connections business, right? How I connect people varies from day to day, but it's largely been through in-person events. I very quickly, as I said, pivoted online. So now all of my members are still meeting each other. And guess what's happening? You're seeing each other again and again and again. It engenders trust. It engenders generosity. People are starting to form their own relationships outside of me. They're figuring out ways to work together. They're doing IG lives together. They're building each other's brands together. And for me, that is what I'm about. I'm in the connections business, and I love that that's happening independent of me. And it doesn't have to be driven just by the in-person events. It's being driven by Zoom calls that I'm doing that are industry specific throughout the week. And it's being driven by the workshops. We just did one on imposter syndrome at noon. But again, everyone's seeing each other again and again and again. And that's the beauty of what's happening.
Do you feel that you're more busy now? Or, I mean, because everybody has to go online. So there's more noise too. So there's more competition in some degree. So do you find that people are reaching out to you more right now, or less, because they're trying to figure out where their place is in the world? And, just saying, oh my gosh, I got to get up, I got to work, I got to do X, Y, and Z today. Or are they truly saying, you know what, I want to wake up and I want to connect, and I want to find ways that I can expand myself?
I think that it's a little bit quieter. I think because I'm just doing so much daily work in terms of programming, that people are reaching out specific to that because they want to engage. They want to have that level of learning and connectivity. They want to connect with other women. I think that people fall in two buckets. They're either busy improving their skills or learning a new skill set. A prime example is one of my members is an illustrator, and she has taught herself how to edit video so she can start to do branding videos and demystify what the illustration process is like from the time that a client meets her to the time that she does the finished product. Great. But there are a lot of people that they're sitting in these workshops and they still can't seem to get past, oh my God, what content do I put out next? How do I stay connected to my clients? And I feel like you can probably hit them with as much as you want, but they have to be ready to hear it.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because I think also being home, you're more apt to say, I'll sit on this webinar, I'll go to a class, I'll finally, take a class that I'm passionate about. But what happens is you can find yourself in this spiral that almost confuses you around, who am I? What is my mission? What am I going to do today? And I also find that people are feeling a little bit disorganized because maybe they're not used to working from home. And so there are new distractions that are in place at home with kids, or the phone is ringing, or whatever that is. How do you organize your day? Because your office is from home and you're out, working in corporations, but you're really organizing yourself at home. What are the habits that you've built in to ensure that you're very successful, that you can pass on to some of the people that are at home now struggling, creating good habits of organization?
So I have three things that I'm going to share. The night before, I always plan out the 6 things that I'm going to do the next day, and I rank them in order of priority. So my going to the post office to get the camera that's going to help me moderate a summit next Tuesday has to be number 1, right? Because I need that for the tech check that I'm going to do at 3. However, the fact that I probably need to create a ticketing link for an event that's happening on May 9th is a little bit further down on the plane because it's not happening until next week. So, but I limit myself to 6 things because your brain gets overwhelmed if you go beyond 6. It brings you into that place of paralysis. So that's a really key piece of my planning, is planning the night before. The second thing is that I have a morning routine, and I've always had this morning routine. I get up, I work out, I meditate, I visualize, I write things that I'm grateful for, I get into the shower, I get ready, put on my hair and makeup. And that routine has not changed when I left my full-time job to when I became an entrepreneur to transferring to this time of pandemic where I can't go to my co-work space anymore. I continue to have that morning routine because it gives me a sense of normalcy. I think the other piece that a lot of folks are missing out on, and the CEO of LinkedIn wrote about this week, it's so important to build in buffer time. Like you and I, we just ran through this earlier today, is that I had a workshop ending at 1, you had a workshop ending at 1, and we had planned to start this at 1. We didn't build in any buffer time, right? And we self-corrected and we started at 1:30. Well, guess what? It gave me a chance to go get lunch. It gave me a chance to reflect on what just happened. It gave me a chance to take a break. And with kids at home and spouses at home, a lot of times that buffer time is consumed by having to take care of your child or having to answer to a spouse. But can you build in buffer time that's just for you to be able to do what you want? Maybe it's just read the New York Times for 10 minutes, but it's so important to have that reset. And so if you have a call that's scheduled for 1 o'clock, have a hard stop at 1:15 and build in those 15 minutes to just catch your breath.
I agree. And, I think sometimes we have to be really, we have to be patient with ourselves and understand that we cannot control everything. We do not control the world around us. We can only control our response. And so we just have to be more empathetic to ourselves and not beat ourselves up. I think sometimes as women, we're also like, I have to do this right now and be on time and move forward. And, it's always this schedule. And we don't really give ourselves the time for, it sounds so cliche, but self-love.
Yeah, I mean, every time I'm beating myself up, and I'm the worst culprit when it comes to this, and I think it's because I had parents that were really hard on me, but I just have to, my mantra is always, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing the best that I can. And in fact, we just talked about this in the imposter syndrome workshop. If the best that you can do is that you got up, you showered, and you did your hair, or you just got up and you showered and got out of your pajamas because the weight of what's happening right now is weighing on you, then that's success. Like, be pliable enough to change what your definition of success is right now, because it is not the norm.
Right. I love that. I'm going to use that to segue to your business and doing some twisting, because you're having a class you're hosting a class this weekend, and it's on boys and girls leadership. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So one of my mentors who I really love and respect is a woman by the name of Julie Catino, and she is the former head of branding for Richard Branson, and she was with him at the Virgin Group. So today she has her own business, and it's really teaching folks like myself on branding. And so she quickly launched a webinar as soon as the pandemic looked like it was here to stay for a little while, on her 3 tenets of what you can do with your business offering to be able to still find opportunity in these uncertain times. So the first tenet was to twist on your offering. So in other words, my offerings are traditionally for adult women, executives, and founders. But guess what? Leadership also needs to be happening for kids. So Saturday mornings, I've pivoted to create a track of leadership programming just for kids who are 7 years old and up. The first week, we talked about STEM education. The second week, we talked about leadership. The third week, we're going to be talking about decision making. And next week, I've got an MBA trainer talking about confidence and how do you cultivate confidence in yourself as a kid. So I just feel like, as much as I'm paying attention to this generation, I also need to think about the long-term horizon and think about that next generation of leaders that are coming up. Mm-hmm. Another way that I've twisted, that's her phraseology that she uses, is that I traditionally will do 6 sessions of public speaking coaching. You and I have worked together. And so instead of offering that full gamut of 6 sessions, I've divorced from that and just offered one-on-one sessions. Maybe you only want to do a 1-hour intensive, but one of her tenets is to twist for the greater good right now. Can you take the proceeds or a portion of the proceeds from the money that you made from that and give it to charity? And so one of the charities that I support is Sakhi. It supports South Asian women survivors of domestic violence. My mother is a survivor. So as I'm doing these one-on-one workshops with people, I'm giving a portion of the proceeds to them because they can't host their gala this year. And fundraising is such a lifeline for an organization like that, which, by the way, is seeing a rise in domestic violence victims right now, really needs that money. And so that's how I've twisted for good. Another tenet that I learned from Julie's class.
It's really wonderful to see, kind of going back to that original conversation, the connection and people taking care of each other and utilizing your business to do that. So I want to thank you as a side note for that. Question for you.
Going to remember about you too, right? Like that's what people are going to remember. One of my members she's a personal chef. She's got a little tiny catering company because she's loved to cook since she was a kid. And as soon as the pandemic hit, she very quickly created this little service where kids, Indian kids who often don't live by their parents, can buy groceries and have her deliver them to elderly parents who can't necessarily go to a grocery store right now because they're scared, or they don't have the access, or they don't live in the adult care facility that they used to be living in. And so for her, like that was her pivot. She's not doing the personal chef thing anymore, but she is doing something food related.
Right. And everybody can do something. That's the best part. Everybody has a unique gift or skill that they can give back. Not everybody can show up and, package or go grocery shopping. To your point, they're scared to go out, but there's some kind of gift that everybody can do. So let me ask you this. 2 of my friends actually texted me this morning who have lost their jobs through this. Is there just any advice off the top of your head that you would like to give them?
100%. Go on LinkedIn and search for "We Are Hiring." When you're searching for profiles, a lot of people have put it in their tagline. So in other words, mine reads Joya Dass, TV anchor, founder of LadyDrinks. In that space, some people are putting "We Are Hiring." And so there are lots and lots and lots of people who put that in their tagline. That's the first place to look. The second tip that I would offer on LinkedIn, because that's where people go to network, is to turn your light on. There's a little toggle switch that sits underneath your name that signals to recruiters that you are in fact searching versus not searching. So it's important to turn that on so recruiters know to look for you. Also populate your skill sets section, because that's how they're searching for you, right? They're searching for business analyst. They're searching for personal chef. They're searching for marketing intelligence, right? So make sure that those skill sets, someone's endorsed you for those, and those sit actually in your profile, because that's how you're going to be found. And then the final piece that I would really do is start putting some thought leadership out there. It's so important to kind of stay top of mind. So what's thought leadership? Your observations on your industry, or your observations on a tool that you've used that really worked well and was an asset to your firm. Your observations on your industry as a whole and how it's changed and how it's morphed in this time. Any of that stuff is just going to really create an opportunity for engagement. And for every single person that likes or comments on your thought leadership, talk to them, direct message them. Hey, great to hear from you. Thank you for the like. How's it going? It's a moment of engagement. I think of LinkedIn as a 24/7 cocktail party, to borrow the words of my friend Joe Apfelbaum. And so you can use that to your advantage right now at a time when you're at home.
Right. And when you do your comments, also make sure that you do some research about that person, because you can actually create an authentic connection too. I think that sometimes people go out and just connect with whoever and they make random comments. Be thoughtful who you're connecting with and who you're commenting on, right? So
yeah, about people that you idolize and follow, like they're publishing thought leadership. So if they publish a piece or an article, don't just say I like it or this was great. Share what in the article really resonated for you, because that shows that you're a deep thinker, you're a critical thinker, you're able to process information and turn it around. So what are the 3 things that you read in this article that this person wrote that really spoke to you?
Great advice. You've been amazing. And I know you have several webinars to still do today. You have a couple more to go through, and I can't thank you enough for your time. But if people want to find you, I think it's really important they know where to go. Can you give us your website and how to reach out to you?
Absolutely. So I'm on social. So you can find me on Twitter at Joya Dass, Joyadass. Same for Instagram at Joya Dass. And you can always email me, info@LadyDrinks.com, which is what my website is, LadyDrinks.com.
Thank you so much for your wisdom today and your advice. And stay healthy and well, Joya. And have a great day.
Take care.